So the stage is now basically set for Halloween Ends, considering the fact that Halloween Ends is supposed to be the final Halloween movie, which is said to be the definitive Halloween movie in closing off the story of both Michael Myers and Laurie Strode, to where despite the opinion of many people, in which a lot of people surprisingly enough do want to see Michael Myers actually win by the end of this film, and what I mean by win is seeing Michael off Laurie Strode, seeing Michael off Officer Hawkins, seeing Michael off Lindsay Wallace, even seeing Michael off Allyson, do I feel like a lot of people do want to see Michael be victorious in this, because without Michael Myers, without the shape, there is arguably no Halloween, and that's just a simple fact. But with all of the information that we've gathered in getting a better understanding as to what Halloween Ends may actually be like, well, Halloween Ends might actually be a film to where perhaps maybe the suggestion here is that nobody dies on the side of the protagonists, i.e. Laurie Strode and perhaps even Allyson, but instead, the real winners are the protagonist and Michael Myers for the first time, arguably without any contractual obligations or any kind of weird clause that suggests that Michael can die, actually dies in this film. And even if that were to be the case, I do not see Laurie Strode being the person to put down Michael Myers. As a matter of fact, I do see Laurie Strode kind of paving the way in opening the doors for Allyson to be that person, because if you guys date back and look back on some of the interviews that were suggested and hinted following the events of Halloween Kills and stuff, it was kind of implied that Allyson's character is going to have a huge role in this film, which arguably to some, it's not really a bad idea to do so, because she lost both of her parents, she lost her boyfriend and his dad, she nearly lost her grandma, so Allyson had a lot to lose, whereas Jamie Lee Curtis's character of Laurie Strode could actually only serve to be a sacrificial-like character. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, we do now know that number one, this is going to be Jamie Lee Curtis's last time reprising the role of Laurie Strode, so that's not going to be a thing anymore in the future Halloween films, and if people are just sick and tired of seeing Jamie Lee Curtis, well, you got your wish, and she is going to finish off Halloween Ends, reprising her role one last time as Laurie, and with that being point number two, she also had stated that Allyson's character is going to be very crucial in this film, as even Laurie Strode within the film herself said that she needs to be the one, as Michael takes her head, for her to be the one to take Michael's. So obviously implying that she has nothing more to live for, she's lost everything, she's lost all of her time, she's lost her sanity, she's lost her friends, and now even her family. Something's got to give, and this movie actually has so much potential in maybe even being the best Halloween movie ever since the original, but that really all boils down to the narrative and how they end up writing this film, because the working title for this film is suggested to be that of Cave Dweller. Yes, so we know that some of these implied working titles have something to do with said concepts and ideas for the film, as of course before Halloween Kills, we found out that the original working title for that film implied something with mob rules, or at least involving the essence of gathering people together and rallying up to take down Michael, and we saw that actually unfold in Halloween Kills. So is this going to be something similar where they end up finding someone in a cave or in a mysterious place that could be the key to hurting Michael or taking Michael down, or maybe even seeing Michael himself reside and dwell within the cave for all of these years? It would be kind of weird to take the narrative in the ending of Halloween Kills and kind of switch that up to suggest that even though he wanted to go home this entire time, he only went home just to simply stare out of a window, only for him to then leave and dwell within the cave. Something doesn't add up here. So if by some mere coincidence this actually ends up being a thing, and we find something out that maybe an individual had been dwelling within this cave, or even Michael himself, something is implied here that there is going to be a mystery behind this film, and I think that, make no mistake about it, Allyson might be the one, and that's the key word here, might. She might be the one to put Michael out of his misery. If Michael contractually is allowed to be killed in this film, then the only other person that kind of makes sense in this scenario to take Michael out would be Allyson. Now, many people have suggested and thrown out the idea that perhaps Michael should kill Allyson, only for Laurie to then kill Michael, or the opposite, have Laurie hurt Michael, only for Michael to kill Laurie, and then for Allyson to kill Michael, which ultimately results in the death of her grandma, but also Michael Myers at the same time. But even on top of that, we don't know what makes Michael different in these films. Now, it is kind of implied that Michael is some sort of a supernatural being himself, even though he is described as being evil incarnate, which means that he is a man, a living, breathing man. He's not an alien, he's not a demon, he's not a shapeshifter or any of that. He's an actual person, but he's devoid of everything that makes him a human, therefore making him more tolerable to pain, making him more susceptible to having this killer instinct that drives him, and even though we don't know why that is, it's still there. So a lot of people have voiced their concerns to say that they don't want to see Michael die via the virus in this upcoming movie, because we know that they are going to be incorporating not only politics and whatever that means, but also the pandemic. So what does that mean for Michael? He's always wearing a mask, hardy horror, right? So they threw that in there, and I think that the only way that could work is if the pandemic kind of serves that purpose to keep people off the streets. Now, if that keeps people off the streets, then Michael has nobody to really terrorize, and thus spreading that fear of Michael's awareness and presence and all of that, which kind of goes on to diminish him as an individual if nobody's outside trick-or-treating, right? So what does that mean for Michael? Now, I have no doubt that in some kind of way they, as in Allyson and Laurie and Hawkins, they're probably going to go and bring the fight to Michael, but that all depends on whether or not they go to his home, if he's even there, or if he's residing somewhere else. But nonetheless, if this is going to be Jamie Lee Curtis's last time playing the role of Laurie Strode, then she needs to die. But if she's going to die, then she needs to do something of significant importance that opens the door for the other characters to have leeway in taking Michael down. Otherwise, if she just dies and has no impact to the story or Michael, then we're right back at the beginning of Resurrection, Halloween Resurrection, when she died and there was nothing of contribution added to Michael's character afterwards, right? So hopefully enough, she doesn't die in the beginning of the film, because I think that would lose value. I think that having Laurie to some capacity, however Michael ends up killing her, die towards the end of the film would leave the movie that much more impactful for the audience to resonate with, to say that this woman tried and she poured her heart out trying to stop this guy, and even with one last breath, she still went down swinging anyway. So with Allyson, we know that at the time for Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, she was a bit shy, she was very reserved, she was very hesitant, and she didn't understand the situations that she was being placed in, because the only other person that did was Laurie, but not to this extent, because even Laurie herself was not expecting for said things to actually happen. So if Allyson does in some way fulfill that destiny of hers to kill the same individual that murdered her parents, that murdered her boyfriend, that murdered all of her friends and colleagues and everyone she's known in Haddonfield, including maybe even her grandma, then it's justified. But that also kind of begs the question on whether or not Michael himself is going to actually die, or if they're going to leave it ambiguous for the audience to think that he's dead, but he's not really dead. Now, we understand that in the future, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, they're going to do more Halloween films, and it's really all going to vary on the timeline placement, on the canon, if they're going to continue off of a previously established film, such as maybe continuing off of Halloween 2, continuing off of Halloween 4, continuing off of Resurrection, or even continuing off of Halloween Ends, even if there is no Michael or there is no Laurie, or there is, right? Something's got to give, unless they want to end off Halloween Ends with the definitive conclusion of everybody just literally dying and there are no survivors in the end. That means Allyson dies, Hawkins dies, Lindsay Wallace dies, Laurie Strode dies, hell, even Michael dies, and Halloween literally ends with everyone being murdered. So in the comment section below, what I want to know from you guys is your ideal scenario for a winner here. A lot of people are going to say Michael, have Michael win. Well, even if you want to see Michael slaughter everybody, where do we go with Michael afterwards? Or if you guys want to see a double kill with Laurie taking out Michael and with Michael taking out Laurie, let me know. Or if you guys believe that the most sensical idea is to have Allyson be the one to take Michael out, then let me know in the comment section below. Again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys love Halloween, again, hit that subscribe button, give this video a big fat thumbs up by slapping that like button down below if you guys are excited for this upcoming movie, because I'm very hyped and I am looking forward to this movie a lot, but I am very concerned for the writing. I am very concerned when it comes down to how they're going to pace this with the 4-year time skip, with the inclusion of the pandemic, with the inclusion of perhaps politics, whatever politics are going to do for this film, because this is supposed to be a Halloween film. It's not supposed to be catering to a specific group or to a specific side, the left side, the right side. It's supposed to be a movie about Halloween, serial killers, murders, stuff like that, because for Halloween Kills, it was implied all over social media that Michael was homophobic or that he had some bias, even though Michael was slaughtering everybody and anything that came across his path, whether you are black, white, straight, gay, it didn't really matter for Michael, because if you stood in his way, you're going to die. Even if you were a kid, an adult, it didn't really matter, because Michael never ever showed signs of biasism outside of just letting kids go trick-or-treating and then going about his business. So it's really intriguing and concerning to see what they do, because they could end up making a banger of a film, or this movie could just simply flop. But Allyson is going to be the key. We've heard many people behind the scenes talk about this, how perhaps Allyson is going to be the one to do this, and Allyson's going to be the one to do that. And it's going to be intriguing to me, because with her mom, Karen, being dead, there is going to be something for Allyson to do now, or at least if that, to show if she's developed or if she's kind of regressed in becoming just like her grandma, paranoid and depressed based off of the events that have happened. So again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you guys for your time. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody, and take care. Peace.